everybody. Welcome to another Market Pulse. Today is the 13th of December, Friday the 13th. So I hope you're having good luck out there. And I hope you're making some money. We are just finishing up a green market, which means it's time to protect. And I'll show you all that stuff when we get started in a moment. But so glad you're here. And what I'm going to do here in the next few minutes is just kind of give you an opening speech or whatever, just a quick little talk about what the market is doing. So you can kind of you can at least see one guy's interpretation of what I think is happening and maybe what you should do and give you some ideas of what you could do coming up. So let's go ahead and I will jump in. I just had a great mastermind call with my gang. A lot of energy, a lot of fun. We were laughing and talking about making money and whatever else we do in there. It was cool. So those of you guys that were in the call, thanks for being, and I'm saying hello to you again. Anyway, let's talk about am I sharing the right screen? That's the question I always have here. Hang on a second. I think I was. Slideshow. Yeah. All right. So here we go. All right. Last week we were in a green market and quickly things changed. So we had a yellow market this week and today things went red. You can see 4 red lights. Momentum is down. The moving averages are crossing down. Lots of negative stuff is happening out there, which means it's cool. It's all part of the cycle. But you got to protect yourself. One way we protect ourselves in my system is we sell calls, right? We create income to sell calls. Now, whether we sell those in the money, at the money, or out of the money, that's what we do. But it does certainly get the odds on your side, even in a down market. Let's talk about the market. Here's the NASDAQ. So you could see this is a bearish engulfing candle, right? It's bigger on the top and bigger on the bottom. It's higher than the high yesterday and lower than the low yesterday. So that's called a bearish engulfing candle. And that portends that there's going to be some selling. I don't know if there's going to be some selling. I'm just telling you, based on past history, those kinds of candles can be negative. Now, you see we had one 4 days ago, and now we're in a red market. So even though it did go up a little bit after, heck, I don't know. There is a gap on this chart, by the way, that needs to get filled. There's one right here at about 19.5. And there's another big gap that nobody's talking about right now at about an 18.4. So you see that gap right there? These two gaps want to get filled. And so now might be the time to get filled, or it could be next cycle. I don't know. I'm just pointing out that there's gaps on the chart that probably are going to get filled at some point. All right. The S&P 500, you can see it's kind of rolling over a little bit. Doesn't look very strong on a rollover. It's down below its 8-day moving average. But nonetheless, there is some selling. You can see it's a 5-day trend down, even though we had a nice day a couple of days ago. Dow Jones Industrial Average. This is really telling the story. 7 days in a row of selling, right? So I suspect this is now rolling over. There's a gap on this chart right in here at 42.2 or something like that. It wants to get filled. This 50-day moving average wants to get hit. This 41,647, once it fills the gap, it could bounce from there, but I'll bet it takes out that 41,647 and bounces from there. I have no idea. Just years and years of reading charts kind of coming to me, but you could do it. You can totally ignore this data that I'm giving you, or you can listen to it and do your own research, whatever. New York Stock Exchange Composite. Look at it. It's already tested the 50-day moving average. I think it probably wants to go to that 19,196 and see if that's a for sure swing point, that one right there. So keep an eye on these little key movements because they test and then you bounce and that could start a new green market. Or if it tests and it fails, now we're going down and probably hitting this 18,513, which is probably going to coincide with something like the 200-day moving average. There's a lot of confluence in the market. So we're keeping an eye out for that. The volatility is still pretty low. So there's not a lot of panic selling. It's just trending down, as you've seen from those charts. No big, huge candles trending down. But I want to point out something. We had a little discussion, not too much of a discussion in our mastermind group about what I call the Kennedy factor. And if I go through everything on this on our talk, you're going to see there's a lot of selling in the drug companies. There's a lot of selling in the food companies. And those, I think, could be attributed to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. being the new director of Health and Human Services, if that's what he got appointed to. And so you look at this. This is the biotechnology chart. Ugly, right? Especially this week. It's like 5 days in a row and a gap down today. And like there's a dreaded H pattern, which I talk about all the time. And I think this could be headed all the way down to 4,000. Right now it's at 44.44. So there's some there's some definite selling going on in biotechs, and I think that's because he wants to clean up the drug industry and maybe get rid of the FDA and reform it or whatever. There's a lot of uncertainty there. Look at the pharma index. Now, this is the companies like Moderna and Johnson and Johnson and Pfizer and all these. Look at that. I mean, look at that, from 1141 all the way down to 950, basically 960. Holy moly, what a sell-off in a couple of months. So the street is looking for some negative stuff. So if you're in these things, I don't know, this dreaded H pattern doesn't look good to me. It looks like it wants to go lower. Who knows? What do I know? I'm just trying to read the charts, read the tea leaves, and see if it works out. The housing industry is telling us something too. Look at the gap downs on this chart. It hit a high of 837, then it went to 836 after a gap up, came down, filled the gap. Now it's created a couple, 3 gaps on the way down just this week. Something's going on in the housing industry, and we don't quite know. Is it that we're really not going to lower rates and we're going to raise rates, and that's going to screw up housing? Is it the insurance market? The housing index knows something that we don't know, so you got to pay attention, guys. Apple. So Apple, you could see, is on a melt up. It's on a little breakout from 237.50-ish, and you see it a couple of weeks running up. I suspect Apple is going to consolidate here with the red market and not have quite the energy on the way up, but we'll see. We'll see. What you could do is, even if it doesn't go up, you could still create income. You could buy the stock if you don't already own it. You could sell calls against it, and even if you sell these 245 in the monies by $1.87, you pick up it's $173 per contract. So if you've got 1,000 shares, you can pick up $1,700 a week just selling basically slightly in the money and protecting your account while you create cash flow. It's like buying a house and renting it out and creating that cash flow. Whether the house goes up or down, you still get to create the cash flow. That's what we do here in our program. Tesla, beautiful melt up. It's on a breakout since about 265. It's really run up nicely. I think it's going to probably consolidate somewhere in here with the red market until we get a green market again, and then probably shoot higher. But again, we're now expecting a lot of good things from Tesla. We've had a tough year in it. Maybe a tough 3 years if you really want to look at it, but now it's hitting all-time highs, and there's a lot of good stuff going on with that. Tesla, now you'll see the difference. If you go at the money, look at the juice. It's $1,400, basically $1,400 a contract. So you got 1,000 shares of Tesla, you're making 14 grand a week just selling calls, right? And we show you how to do all that and where to do it. Sometimes you go out of the money, you can get it here and make the upside. Sometimes you go in the money and protect the downside. There's all that kind of stuff. But look at the juice on Tesla, $1,400 a contract. That's great, right? So if you got Tesla, you should be selling calls against it. Maybe not there, but you got to decide for yourself. MicroStrategy is the big one. If you watch anything that I've been putting out lately over the last, well, I guess it's 3 weeks now, I've put out 15 videos on MicroStrategy and showing you the whole trade, from where I conceived the trade to why I conceived it and what we're doing in it and how we're selling and how we're making money. We're making like $15,000, $20,000 a week, I would say, on average. But you can see this stock ran all the way up to 543. It's now sitting here in a little consolidation area around the $400 price. They are a Bitcoin play. Michael Saylor is this financial genius who is doing this financial infinite money arbitrage glitch thing. It's a really fascinating story, but you can see the stock's right around 395, 400, and you can sell. Get ready for this. If you know what I'm talking about with calls, you're going to be really appreciative of this. You get $2,177 at the money, okay, for the 395s. So if you got 1,000 shares of MicroStrategy, you're making $21,000 a week, right? At 2,100 times 10, you're making $21,000 a week. That's $80,000 a month. That's a lot, right? Anyway, good stuff there, right? All right, Nvidia, people love Nvidia, but Nvidia looks to me like it's kind of on a little bit of a rollover downtrend toward the bottom. So now it's trading significantly below its, well, not significantly, but it hit the 50-day moving average today. And this one looks like it's got a newer low going on. So this is a downtrend, right? You can see now there's a downtrend in effect. I bet you that if it doesn't hold this 131.80, it's going to the 200-day moving average, which is under 120, guys. And so you got to be really, really careful if you're holding Nvidia, because if you don't have the muscle to be able to hang in there, it's going to be painful, right? If you know Nvidia is going up long term, you don't worry about it, then great, just buy the stock, sell the calls against it, make cash flow. But a lot of people just don't know that. So All right, so you can see in Nvidia, and I'll leave it here, but Nvidia pays you what, $3,000 a contract every week, whatever it is, something like that. So so that's still pretty good juice, right? You can see that if you did that over and over and over and over again for 52 weeks, you make 116% on your money. I'm not saying you do. I'm saying if you did this trade and just bought the stock, sold the call, and the stock stayed the same at the end of the year, all that sitting there, you double your money at least, right? All right, let's see what else we got. This will be the last stock we do. This is Amazon. You can see Amazon is on a breakout from 200. I made a video on this a couple of months ago. I said, be watching that $200 price. That's where it wants to break out. Sure enough, it ran all the way up to like 228 bucks. And now it's still up there. It's still on a breakout. We got Christmas time coming up, holiday shopping. I'm not worried about Amazon, and I'm not worried about Apple, and they're both on breakouts. So I'll leave it there. Listen, thanks for joining me. Really appreciate you being here. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. If you haven't done it, that would be awesome. Get this out to more people. If you could hit the like button, if you like what I'm saying, great. If you hate me, you don't like bald guys, whatever, just hit the dislike button, but tell me why you dislike me. And so maybe I can improve. I can't do much about the hair. Maybe I'll wear a wig one day. And then hit the notification bell so you can find out when all of our next videos are coming out. We're having a lot of fun on this MicroStrategy trade. And one announcement, by the way, just while I got you, and that is in January 15th, we're launching one of my income accelerator courses. It's a 4-week live version, live workshops, right? 4 weeks in a row on Wednesday nights at 8 Eastern, where we get on the line, we talk about there's a course behind it, right? So there's a 5-week training course that we're going to get on, and we're going to talk about it on Wednesday nights. And we're going to go through some new curriculum and extra curriculum and talk about making money in the market. And it's a lot of fun. Everybody who's done this, I do it like a couple times a year. Everybody's who's done the Income Accelerator loves it. We have a great time together. You get mentorship from me for 4 weeks. You get a chat group a private chat group of all your peers, holding each other accountable, talking about the trades you're doing, learning from each other. My course, my mentorship, it's a heck of a lot of fun. And if you want to get in on that action, there's probably a link below. Now here, you're gonna have 2 choices on the link below. The first one is join the waiting list, right? We've got a special going on. But if you don't want to take advantage of the special, because I'm knocking the price off by a lot, if you don't want to take advantage of the special, that's cool. You can just get on the waiting list, and I'm going to send you some things, and then you can decide later if you want to get in on it. Or if you want to be an early bird, take advantage of our early bird pricing. You could jump to what I call jump to the front of the line. So there'll be links for that stuff somewhere on the bottom, and love to have you there. I'm limiting the classes because it's a mentorship thing, and I can't mentor a zillion people, so I keep the classes kind of small on these. So once they're gone, the seats. But right now we're just starting to open it up. This is like this first or second announcement I've made on it. Love to see you there. If you want to learn how to buy stocks, sell calls, and do all the strategies that you need to do, I'd highly recommend that you do this. It's a lot of fun, and we're going to have fun together. So anyway, enough for me. Have a phenomenal weekend. Be excellent. And like I learned from Bill and Ted, be excellent to each other. Thanks for being here, and I'll catch you next week. Take care. Bye.